Kamal Mitra Chinoy, what do you think must happen next?
Well, I agree with Captain Gopinath that there should be
As a member of the Aam Aadmi Party, are you embarrassed by Somnath Bharti?
Of course I'm embarrassed. I didn't join the Aam Aadmi Party to look at this. But since I have looked at it, I think there should be an independent investigation. And if there is any prima facie evidence in the independent investigation...
So who do you think should do this independent investigation?
Well, there's definitely going to now, it seems, be some kind of legal or quasi-legal investigation by one of the state agencies which is involved. Though we've been told
Should the Delhi police, especially if these charges are untrue, and here's what everyone in the Aam Aadmi Party who's watching this broadcast should do. If these charges are untrue, I have a very simple proposition. Order a probe. Let the truth come out. This is what Arvind Kejriwal has said about 1 million people. He's got a list of 22 corrupt netas. He says order an independent probe. So you set up through the Delhi police. If you don't trust the Delhi police, you pick a judge you trust. Let him order a probe. Somebody who understands cyber security and cyber crime. Let him order a probe. Captain Gopinath, do you think that's the right way to go? Let the Delhi police order whoever they think appropriate. Let him investigate Somnath Bharti.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 points here. One is the most important thing is for Somnath Bharti to come clean, and if, as you say, is saying that he doesn't know anything about it. We all know partners cheat. Then he should file a criminal case against the partner. Then he should order an independent investigation so that the truth comes out. And that's the only way to go about this, so that you set an example and you demand the same standards on yourself that you demand from others.
Is that not, Sanjay Kaul, the fairest and the most appropriate way to go? Because Somnath Bharti believes that there are people out there who are taking Prashanto, Ashish, Conrad Longmo all for a ride. They've got a vested interest against the Aam Aadmi Party. If that is the case, order a probe. Let the truth emerge. That is what Kejriwal would demand of others, and I think India has the right to demand that of Kejriwal.
Yeah, I think it might even demand a dharna. And I think I completely agree with Captain Gopinath. What he said was absolutely logical. It was right. There are ethical issues involved here. It is not just about the other facts of the case. They may or may not be proven exactly in the fashion that they have been presented or look like. But fact is, that the Law Minister of Delhi cannot possibly have a background like this. So obviously the candidates of Aam Aadmi Party are not going through any background checks.
No, because one of the other things, Kiran Walia, that the Aam Aadmi Party is saying, even if Somnath Bharti did all of this while he was in college before he became a lawyer, how can you hold that against what he's doing today? If somebody, when you're in IIT or when you're studying in one of the colleges, you do various things on the side to earn money. Do you think it's fair to hold those actions of the past accountable when it comes to the image and the prestige of the Law Minister of Delhi at this time?
Excuse me, it doesn't really establish credentials of a kind that one should be fighting elections and one should be representing a party like Aam Aadmi Party, which came about only to cleanse the jharu that they were holding. And what has happened is a big expose, and I think that anybody who has had a criminal past, it always takes, how can it excuse anybody who becomes a politician later? That way any criminal would like to become a politician and be above law. This is exactly the whole premise of Aam Aadmi Party is, and I also personally believe that's how we should behave in politics, and therefore anybody who has done this must really face the consequences, and the probe must insist that this person would be dissociated from his office while the probe is on. So this is the only way there can be a fair
We're at
probe,
the end of our investigation for tonight. This, I promise you, is not the end of this story. We will keep digging, and we will dig very hard. He sent another response on Twitter just now, Somnath Bharti. He says, please take your viewers through the contents of my legal notice. Well, Mr. Bharti, I am going through your legal notice, and I am not seeing a single question being answered. We've asked you questions. I will send them to you again if required. I will tweet those questions to you. You can respond. You don't want to come to an interview, respond to them on Twitter, Mr. Bharti. Each of the points that you've raised are questions. You want to know, when did we invite guests to the show? What time did they confirm? How the invitation was sent? How was the confirmation received? Frankly, I think this is absurd.
I want to say,
yes.
Sentence. I think this is no longer just about Somnath Bharti.
Yes.
This also involves the reputation of Aam Aadmi.
Absolutely.
Therefore, an independent investigation and Somnath Bharti not being in a position to interfere with that investigation are the things that are required. And I am sure once the shock of this is over, something will happen. The Aam Aadmi
You will press for it?
I will press for it.
In your capacity as a member of the Aam Aadmi Party, you will press for action to be taken against Somnath Bharti?
If he's found guilty. Because
No, but
as
for
he
that
said,
you need a probe.
yeah, probe, of course.
But so
Probe
far
has
there's no
been-
probe, there's no question of guilt. The guilt
Well,
comes later. First there needs to be a probe, and that
The
hasn't
amount
happened
of times
either.
you've been batting against Somnath Bharti, I'm pretty sure there will be a probe.
Well,
you
that
brought
depends.
quite a bit of...
We've seen several politicians in the past, hardcore, traditional politicians, brazen out charges. Kejriwal said he would be different. Kejriwal said he would set a different standard. Whether he does or not, or whether he falls prey to what he holds others guilty for, remains to be seen. We will be back with part 3 of the investigation. I'm in no hurry. I don't know when it will be, but we will track this case very, very closely. Somnath Bharti wanted me to read some bits from this legal notice. He said, I wish he'd given some answers. I would have read them out for clarity. There are only questions. Kindly provide the dates when the summons were issued to my client by the Superior Court in California. Kindly provide the document which show. There is no answer. Not a single question has been answered. There are only questions. Nothing has been answered. Not one of the questions that we asked have been answered. And Mr. Bharti, this is not a good enough answer. I'm sorry. I don't want to take sides. I think the only fair way to go is for an independent probe to be ordered. You decide who you think is independent, someone outside the Aam Aadmi Party. You can't, you said send us all the documents. 5 of our members will look at those documents and we will decide whether Somnath Bharti is guilty or not. That's in the form of a Khap Panchayat. I'm sorry, that's not acceptable.
From what you're saying, that it would be difficult to get 5 members to your TV station.
No,
You
but
said
right
the
now no
number-
one's willing to come.
So that's my point.
You know, boycotting the media seems to be
No,
the new
it's
thing
not
in
boycotting the
faction.
media. It's a question of having the expertise to deal with something
No, come
which
out and answer. Rahul Mehra is a lawyer. He's seen these documents. I know that they did a meeting. He's seen these documents. He should have come out and answered. If these documents were wrong, if the charges were false, he should have trashed them, given them reasoning. We've got Pawan Duggal here. We've got Prashanto Conrad Longmore is listening. They should have come out and answered all the
But
questions.
Mr. Duggal has said that there are grey areas.
Sure,
So that
absolutely.
might be worrying people who want to give us a definitive answer.
Absolutely. We are willing to answer the questions that you've raised, Somnath Bharti, but more importantly, I want to know from you the answers to the questions that we've asked. We'll answer these questions, but that's not in point over here. The major point is for you to answer the questions that you've been asked. We'll be back. Thank you all very much for joining us on Center Stage tonight.